So we are on. Once again, good morning. I'm excited for your presentations. Let's all settle. I'm expecting questions, of course, later on. And the idea is also for you to engage. It's not just about presentation, but also it involves learning from the team. So I want to hear questions in the end, but when everyone has presented. You're taking 15 minutes each. So let's try to be very laconic as possible. All right? So we are on, and let's have the group on security begin.
Good morning, everyone. Our group looked at, were given the topic of security, and under security, we decided to choose the National CCTV project, a project that is ongoing at the moment. But before we start our presentation, we had a video that was talking about our various experiences. As members, we decided that this should be a way that we tell you what we went through or the things we encountered during that time. So we would want to first play for you that small video, then continue with the presentation.
Me personally, we had the chance to visit one of the command centers that was in Enacting, the first of its kind in Uganda, and this has helped us learn a lot, with my colleagues having various experiences that they will talk about in UNRA.
Hello, my name is Caroline Taban, and my experience is the challenge of being tested around. We were tested around a lot to go to the CPS, to just a lot of movement. So that is mostly basically the challenge of this.
Hello guys, how are you doing? My name is Okello, and we are tasked with the project of CCTV camera installations in Kampala metropolitan.
Going through this project, going to find out about the project is we went to the control center in Atete. It was a wonderful experience because we got to find out about the control center, how they monitor the CCTV cameras. It's an ongoing project in Kampala. As a group and as I personally,
and he gave us some short information, which we were also referred to talk to Mr. Kaima, Afande Kaima, who also we didn't get in touch with. So we had to pile up a lot of troubles and struggles in order to come up with this work. But I believe with this work that we're going to present, everything is going to be well detailed and it will be in region. And it was quite a very hectic journey for us with my other 8 members. And we are tasked to go to Natete, to the command center, to look at how these CCTV cameras are monitored all over Kampala, since it was the first project that was initiated. We went to Natete, and we had a very heavy task to talk to these people, and these people had to tell us to go to CPS in Kampala, where I had to talk to Mr. OSD Luke.
Edwidge Masambagawini. Among my members, I was among the people that went to the Hopeway company located at Cementi. I was given the opportunity to meet the PR who we engaged with and ask different questions concerning the installation of the CCTV cameras in Uganda.
Working a project with UMEME and Uganda Police Force. As we were on our way to UMEME, we encountered various challenges which included costs. We had to get money from our own personal pockets. But otherwise, this was a very good experience. We were able to go to Kampala and have a reason to go to Kampala. Thank you.
Hello class, my name is Kalijima. I was so excited to go to one of the command centers in Uganda, that's the National Command Center in Atete, where we find out more information about the installation of cameras, but the place was so stinky, and one of the major reasons.
My name is Grace Shisa, and I was involved in the group that was tasked to focus on security, and a few of my colleagues and I went to Huawei, and in our interactions, I think for me, the practical experience and interacting with these different people in the company that we visited was a success that I registered personally. But a big challenge was the expenses involved traveling from Kono all the way to Kamwokya, and then our friends went to Natete. So for university students, that was quite costly. But the whole experience from the PPP broadened the scope of knowledge and helped me to understand the whole aspect of PPPs generally. So for me, that was something good. And yeah, aside from the challenges, I was able to learn a lot from this experience. Yeah, thank you.
To end this, our group, at least we are able to get the experience. We are able to understand how PPPs are working together with the government. I really would like to thank our lecturer who gave us this opportunity to go outside so that we can put theory into practice. Thank you very much. Good morning, guys. My name is Untitled Davis. I'm part of this team.
Thank you very much for watching that short video. That's something we made to tell you what we went through. To quickly dash through the introduction of this particular project, the National CCTV project. This project was started way back in 2007 under the Commonwealth, when we had the Commonwealth Summit in Uganda. Though it wasn't that much thought about, it started with a local contractor with the Uganda government, which is Sekanolya Limited in Uganda, that was assigned the contract of putting around cameras to ensure security for the delegates who would come during the Commonwealth Summit. But later, we see that this project sort of was delayed and had a few ups and downs, and then it stopped midway. But going on, Cabinet passes a resolution that there was need to have these cameras installed into the urban areas to fight urban crime, and with a new wave of murders that was in the urban areas, there was need for these CCTV cameras. So to tell you that this started from, this particular project starts from 2011 with the signing of an MOU between Huawei Technologies and the Uganda government under Ministry of ICT. This particular program was to be manned by the Uganda Police Force with partners like Ministry of ICT, UNITA, which is National Information Technology Authority, then NIRA, which is National Identification and Registration Authority, KCCA, Kampala Capital City Authority, and Huawei Technologies. Just to dash through it, would tell you that the estimated cost of this project is estimated between 458 billion shillings. The first bunch of cameras that were supposed to come were 900 CCTV cameras to cover the key areas of Kampala and Wakiso. So far, what has been done is that 20 kilometers of the 1,300 kilometers of where the CCTV are supposed to be put have been covered. I can also tell you that the cameras are supposed to cover an area or sites that are 1,248. sites. And when the whole project is done, Uganda in particular should have 5,552 cameras all working. So far, the country has one command center, which is located in Atete, and its estimates of construction was 7.8 billion shillings. Yeah, so that is basically what I can tell you about a brief introduction of what the project is about, as my colleagues will come and engage into further conversations on this particular subject. Thank you.
Good morning. I'll be taking you through the aims and objectives of this project. The first aim is to establish a PPP between a private company and government, that is Huawei and Uganda Police Force as the government institution. Then to understand what this partnership is trying to tackle. In this case, what they're trying to tackle is urban crime because of the prevailing murders and insecurity and tension in the city. Then the third is to find out what equipment is being used to achieve the goals. They're using CCTV cameras that capture images of people and number plates and so on. Then to know the criteria used to Huawei. And then fifthly, to find out where these cameras are got from. These cameras are Huawei products, like with the Huawei brand on them. Yeah. Then the objectives is to combat urban crime, like I had explained. There was tension in the city center and Kampala metropolitan area. Then to reduce deployment pressure on the police. Obviously, the police can't be everywhere, so they need to, help get people that can assist them, which are the cameras. And then to have identification match the NIRA database. The NIRA database has a particular number of people, but the information that they have does not match what is actually on the ground. Thank you.
Good morning, class. I'll be presenting the legal framework. These are the laws concerning this particular project. Under PPP Act 2, Part B, 2015 states that this project shall apply to all PPPs, and in particular, information, computer technology, and telecommunication networks. What are the principles under this act? Ensuring value for money, for example, maximizing benefits. This project should maximize the benefits concerning the people who are going to benefit from it. Ensuring protection and respect of the rights of the users. Are the users being protected, or laws are being broken, and as such? Transparency. Ensuring all bid notices are advertised so that various private companies can come up to take up the various projects. Ensuring that the terms and conditions of the employees affected by the project, ensuring that this project the employees who are giving out this project are protected by the rights of this act. For this particular project, a private rights defendant organization was not satisfied with this project. Why? Why are you putting cameras in us? Do you want to spy? Do you want to spy on your do you want to spy on the opposition? What is your intention, really? What is the government intention with this project? So, for the government, they went to Parliament, and an ongoing debate is being taken up for this law to be passed. Yeah, thank you very much.
Good morning, class. I'll be taking you over through the successes. First, we see the interaction with the project areas and responsible persons. Here, we were able to engage and reach out to different workplaces. For instance, we went to the headquarters and were divided into two groups.
Some members went to the command center in Atete, and others went to the Huawei company, technologies at Kisementi. Then we also see how there was a better understanding of the PP course unit. This enabled us to retrieve and put the theoretical part of what we're learning into a practical experience. Then we see how the building or growth of teamwork, building or growth of teamwork. This helps us, as a team, we're able to come together, bring up different ideas. Others maybe would oppose to it, and others would be agreed to or not. The practical experience, the teaching method that we're all used to is just being in class and copy and paste, that's it. Now in this case, our lecturer was able to give us the chance to engage in different projects. Go and see exactly what's at hand, and and know exactly what's taking place. Then we're able to also, as another success, we're able to broaden our scope and knowledge of the course unit, basically, like generally. I think majorly the success was more of learning about the PPP course unit, and that's it. Then the failures, failure to acquire information due to high levels of confidentiality. However much we went to the headquarters, we were not able to be given the information, so that made us lag behind and not know maybe some questions that we had posed to them. So we cannot maybe answer everything that the class had asked us before, so we didn't get a response to that. Yes, thank you.
Good morning, class. My name is Grace Shisa. I'll be taking you through the challenges. Very first challenge we had was a high level of expenses that we incurred as a group, traveling from Mukono all the way to Kamocha. And for a university student, that's quite costly, and we're taking money out of our pockets. So the issue of expenses was an overreaching factor and challenge to our group. Then, quite similarly to the failures, we also had high levels of confidentiality. For those of us that went, because a group of us went to Huawei, and we got to interact with the PR officer. He was called Alan Chobe. So we sit down with him and have a conversation, and he tells us, ask me all the questions that you want to ask. And so we asked him all the questions, and then after we had finished asking and were expecting answers, he tells us, there's a high level of confidentiality, and we signed these clauses, and so we can't disclose any information. So we were very disappointed that we had to travel all the way and even sit down on a round table with him and still get no information. So because of the high level of confidentiality, and ideally because the project is still running, so they can't give you information until after it has been completed successfully, so we're not able to get the information. Then also the long distance from Mukono to Kamocha, then a group of us that went to Natete and then had to go to CPS, and then were pushed from there to Naguru. So it was a long distance, and we left here during the morning hours, but some of us came back around 2 p.m. and then the others came back around 6 p.m. So it was quite tough. And then we also had to miss some classes because if you're going to do this project, you have to put off an entire day to go out and find out this information. And yet, at school you're missing out the important things. So that was quite tough for us, yes. And then we have delay in response. We reached out to these people and expected them to give us information, but we kept on making calls and sending in emails, and these people are not responding. And after 2 weeks of, constant calls, constant emails, and then we reached out to him, and he's telling us, we don't have any information. So we were very disappointed with that. And then limited time to carry out the project. Ideally, a project should run for a big amount of time, because there's a lot that needs to be found out, and so I believe the time that we were given to carry out this project was quite limited, and that's why we're not able to find out everything that we should have found out. So to us, that was a challenge. Yeah, thank you.
Good morning, class. I'm going to take you through the recommendations. Number one is training of security personnel in ICT programs in order to equip them with knowledge on how to use the CCTV cameras. And again to equip them with skills in order to deal with the issues of hacking. Then Okay. Another point is to enacting of an act of parliament to help the agencies to combat urban crime. With the enactment of law by parliament, it will help other security agencies to operate more efficiently. Thank you.
Good morning, once again. On the other part of the recommendations, I'm going to talk about, we recommend that the government should use strong firewalls to prevent hacking of the systems. You know, these cameras, these security cameras are made up of internal systems that are vulnerable to hacking. We've seen this happen very many times. Terrorist attacks, terrorists can easily hack the system, so it's the government. Is it having a strong firewall, or, because you know even passwords are not enough. There's some programs that can easily be hacked and they can take over the country or something like that. So this thing has to be, the security camera has to really be protected. Another thing is, these CCTV cameras in the urban areas is really very good, and we recommend that they should be pushed also to other parts of the country, like the borders, because there are people who also smuggle, like we need to be, crimes happen everywhere, so monitoring has to occur across the whole country, in the whole country. Yes, thank you very much.
Good morning, members. Doing part of the recommendations. There is a need of using intelligence, because we believe that intelligence would help in beefing up the information that is received from the camera screens. Because I believe that sometimes response to crimes, depending on cameras, it would sometimes be slow, because someone would have to see on the camera screens, then he gives feedback to someone who is in the field. Therefore, intelligence should be beefed up so that cameras are used efficiently. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Mwesiga Caleb, and in conclusion to our project, a lot was realized and a lot was achieved, but in the bigger picture, we realized so many successes, and to some small extent, we realized some small failures. But with all the hassles and tutorials we went through, as we have been presenting to you, security is still a very fundamental unit of Uganda. And through the PPPs, we realized that Uganda can still get more resources through these private entities which may come into Uganda to help or aid in facilitating most of the security apparatuses that Uganda is in need of. Thank you very much. We came up with 3 questions. Number 1, how has the government managed to implement the installment of cameras? Question 2 says, who benefits from this PPP and how? The last question says, how can urban crime be combated? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's have